Hello everyone, welcome to another video on this channel, and today we're going to take a look into the Google earnings that are coming up this week. Tomorrow, Tuesday the 25th, we're going to see the earnings for Google, and it is going to be a very interesting earnings for the company and especially for the stock as well. As you can see here, it will be tomorrow after hours. So we are currently within a very interesting bull flag. Now, I know many people are aware of this, that the stock is in this bull flag, and that there is a good chance that after the earnings, the stock is going to break out of the bull flag. You can see that the stock is really coming together at the 121, 122 area. You can see the moving averages are very close to each other, the 20 and a 50-day. So everything is basically waiting for the earnings tomorrow. When we're zooming out, we are actually seeing something interesting, is that the stock is not at its highs. As actually, it is still around $30 below the all-time high. And if you compare this to, for example, Apple, Microsoft, Meta platforms, they are all much higher compared to Google. So in my opinion, we're looking at big tech, Google definitely still has a big move to make in order to catch up with the other big tech. Of course, if you compare it to Tesla and Netflix, other big companies, they are also much lower, but I would rather compare Google to Microsoft and Apple. And for that matter, I do think that they haven't been corrected to the upward side as much as the other stocks. So to me, it kind of is a bias to the upside for the earnings, and that the expectations are probably a little lower than for the other big tech right now. But the big question, of course, is where could we be heading after the earnings? What are the levels to watch? Now, of course, we got this bull flag. So on good earnings, we would probably be looking at breaking that bull flag, the 127, 128 level. Now, in previous earnings, we do see that the last one in April didn't do much to the stock. We saw in February a big move up, plus 7%. And in October 2022, we did see a drop of around 9%. And then the year before, we saw a move up 7%. So I am expecting, also given that the last earnings were not as volatile, I am expecting a move anywhere between 4 and 6%, 4, 7%, which would mean that potentially even after the earnings, the stock could still be in this range within the bull flag. So on good earnings, I would definitely watch for a break of the 127, that we're breaking out of this bull flag. And if the earnings are going to be bad, I would be looking at the 114, 115 area, which will be to the lower side and which could cause the stock to correct. Now, does mean that I am kind of neutral, but however, given the fact that Google is, hasn't corrected to the upward side as much as the other big tech, I am favoring to the upside, to my opinion, not financial advice. On the long term, let's say the earnings will be good and we are going to break out of the bull flag, I am seeing Google going back up to that all-time high area. So I'm talking about 140, 150 area. On the downward side, I am seeing Google on bad earnings falling back to the support of the 200-day. So also on the long term, it's kind of an even risk reward play, either long-term 140s or 100. So also in that sense, kind of neutral perspective, in my opinion, risk reward wise. Now, I know many people like to play options with earnings. So let's check the options for Friday. And we do see that on the long side, we'll be looking at like the 127, 128, and we do see that it's still valued at around 140, 160. So I think earnings, we won't exceed 127, 128. It's still quite expensive. Of course, earnings are early in the week on Tuesday, so you still have multiple days to go up even further. I would wait for the earnings, and maybe if earnings are going to be good, a lot of premium will go out of the options, and you might even buy some 130s then if earnings are good for like 20, 30, 40 cents. And if Google gets like a nice run up, you might actually have nice gains. But I wouldn't risk paying a lot of premium if my implied volatility is limited to 127, 128. That border of the bull flag, we're either just going to break out of it or not on good earnings. We might even stay within. And of course, then on the downward side, the put side, let's go a bit down here. The 114, 115s are priced a little better, 116, but still, I would wait for earnings to have settled in. Also, selling options, I mean, the premium, it's good premium. You could, if you have covered calls, you could sell some calls, but it's not too much. I think I wouldn't touch the options before the earnings, but of course, if you like to take a little risk, you could, of course, do it and get some really nice gains if the stock goes up a lot or goes down a lot, depending, of course, on the reaction. Now, to conclude, Google is currently in the middle of the bull flag, and with earnings coming up on the long side, I'm looking at a break of the 126, 127 area, and on the downward side, be careful. So take some profits or put a stop loss at the 140 if you're going to break below this area. So I'm kind of neutral within the sense, but given the fact that we still have to catch up with Apple, Microsoft, Meta, I do think that there's a higher probability for this stock to react positively to the earnings. This is my opinion, not financial advice, of course. Now, in the comments, please let me know what you think about Google, how you're going to play the earnings. Are you going to take a position, or where are your stop losses or profit taking points or buy orders going to be? Please let me know in the comments. Also, please let me know if you want to see other stocks being discussed on this channel. And also, don't forget to leave a like and a subscribe. And then I hope to see you all the next video.